Hello and welcome to another Kings at Home Daily. We are working our way through the New Testament book of Acts, which it's the second part of a two-part volume, both written by Luke. You've got Luke's Gospel and then you've got Acts. The Gospel of Luke covers Jesus' life, his death, and then Acts moves into the Gospel, you've got his resurrection as well, lest we forget. And you've also then got, moving into Acts, you've got Jesus' ascension, where he goes and sits at the right hand of God. And it then documents the first 30 or so years of the early disciples making more disciples. So they're going around, they're being witnesses in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, to the ends of the earth. And they're fulfilling the Great Commission that Jesus has given them to make disciples, teaching them to obey everything that Jesus had commanded them and baptizing them as well. So they are cracking on with the mission that God has got for them and has given them. We're in chapter 16. We're about halfway through chapter 16 today in verse 25 onwards. And we actually pick it up in the middle of an event in Paul and Silas's life where they've we see it first in verse 16, where they've essentially, there's a lady who's pestering them. Paul decides and discerns that there is a spirit inside of her that needs casting out, that is not of God, so he does that. But then, she's freed. She's freed of that spirit. But then the people who are her owners, because she can tell the future. So she's got money making abilities. They're not pleased about it. So Paul and Silas end up in prison as a result of that. It says in verse 23 that they are severely flogged and they were thrown into prison. We pick it up in verse 25 and it says, about midnight, Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns to God, and the other prisoners were listening to them. I find this response of Paul and Silas absolutely amazing, probably for a number of reasons. I think firstly, it was midnight, or it was about midnight, and I might be thinking, I need to get some sleep. Like, I could be up early, it's potentially a big day tomorrow, I don't know what's going to happen, I probably need to get my head down, try and forget the anxiety of the situation and get some sleep. I'd probably also be thinking is this a time to pray and sing hymns to God like Paul and Silas did? I might be thinking and actually accusing God, thinking, this is too much. This is too much suffering. I didn't realize it was going to be this hard. Following Jesus is more hassle than it's worth. And actually to be praying and trusting God for the situation might be a step too far. Like, I don't know how I would respond in that situation. Maybe you would respond with faith, with boldness, with courage like Paul and Silas did. Or maybe you might cower away and struggle in this situation. But I think what's important to note with Paul and Silas is that this was not just a one-off event for them, in the sense of them praying and singing to God. This was not just ad hoc. This wasn't Paul and Silas thinking, well, this is likely to end up in the Bible. People are going to read about this for centuries to come. So let's do the right thing. Let's make sure we come out good on this. Let's do what God tells us we should do. So let's pray and let's sing to God. That's not what they're thinking. For Paul and Silas, this idea of praying and singing to God is a lifestyle. This wouldn't have been the first time or the last time that they did it. They would have done this under duress, under situations like this of persecution and suffering and pain and hardship. And they would have done this at the good times where they were celebrating and enjoying the beauties of God's goodness and God's creation. They, in their rhythm and in their lifestyle, they would have prayed and sung hymns to God. And that's the encouragement I want to bring to us today, really, is, are you in a rhythm of prayer and singing hymns to God? So that whatever happens in life, whatever circumstances come your way, whether it is physical persecution, whether it's something more subtle in terms of suffering and pain, physical or mental, or whatever your life might hold in the future, will the rhythm of prayer and singing continue in your life at that point? It's a beautiful rhythm. Prayer and singing hymns to God. Do you have songs that you go to with meaty truth of who God is and what God has done for you? Do you go back and do you sing these when you're out and about walking the streets? Are you singing to God? Are you worshiping him when you're in the car? Are you singing out to him, letting maybe a CD on, or connect it to your phone and declare God's goodness? Let it overflow in worship and praise to God. We're called to be worshippers, called to be those who look to God and fuel our worship with wonderful truth. Whether that's modern songs or songs throughout the ages, older songs, make sure you're fueling your worship with good, solid, biblical truth. It will empower you and enable you at situations like Paul and Silas were facing to pray and worship in those situations and circumstances. For them, it led to an incredible witnessing opportunity. The other prisoners were listening to them. They probably had no choice. Maybe Paul and Silas were singing